So you all have a letter. It's evening time on a Monday. You've been summoned. You're all there with your individual vices. Who's opening the letter? Or is the letter just being opened and tossed on the table?
I usually open it.
So Mike,
And then I throw it on the table.
It's well, it's kind of surprising that it's just a letter. You might have taken a bit of time to look around, and there wasn't any kind of gift box or strong box or anything like you would normally get. The letter's pretty long, and it seems to be in a handwriting that you haven't seen before. Basically just says, "Gentlemen." There's almost too much space between gentlemen and the next type for dramatic pause. The next time we send you out, we must ask that you, well, make things a bit easier to cover up. We are still not 100% sure what you have done, what the ramifications of your actions might be. So we must ask you to heed caution, or other methods will need to be taken. That being said, we do have another case for you all to work on. This one should be a bit easier for you to do. We've received a request from one of our prominent families. Their son, Hans, disappeared about a month ago. Police have investigated, but been unable to locate anything. We believe that the police are incapable of being able to offer the services that are needed. That is why they have asked for our help. If we're able to help, they are willing to offer up a very great reward, one that would certainly help us, but greatly help you all as well. In order to begin this case, they have supplied you with the address of the Bexley family, and also the name of the inspector that had been working the case. His name is Inspector Pasco Vaone, Vaone. He is stationed at the Kingswood Route Station, which is in the Blue Collar District. The Bexley family lives in the gated community. So with that information, what all would be your first move?
What do you think, kid?
I think it's best that we get out of the room at least. We're not going to get anywhere here.
Where are we going?
I'm gonna vote for the Bexleys.
I was going to say Inspector and then Bexley.
Spoon's the deciding vote.
Roll a D2, Spoon.
Frederick, where do you think we should go?
That would be so great if it was like a sock puppet you had all the time.
I'm so sorry. I'm just taking notes. I do not have the reason to provide any input on this circumstance. You guys have the best ideas. Go forth.
I'm going home.
All right.
I'm gonna go look up this kid.
I'm going to pull a coin out of my back pocket. It's the only money I have on me. Heads will be Bexley. All right, how do I flip a coin?
Just /R1D2.
I don't think. Oh, there it is too. So it's tails. I guess we're going to the inspector.
All right. William, you're going home, or are you gonna go with them?
Well, I was just gonna go look up the kid at the school. I figured he would be.
Yeah, we can stop there at the school real quick, and
I guess we're going to the inspector.
So
the
you will
inspector
know
can't be too far.
that the gated community, they have their own private school for those that live in there. So he would not have attended your school. There's probably about 4 or 5 total schools for non-collegiate ages, and then the main university for college age students. But yeah, the gated community, it is a complete community that is behind about 10-foot tall wall with a single entrance at the front. It's not the wealthiest of the wealthy, but it's upper class. You know, you're talking about factory and business owners, bankers, high-powered attorneys. This is where the wealthy live, and they like to live outside of what the city really has. Everything they need is kind of within their own wall. So you would know that as kind of basic knowledge. Would you still go to your school?
I guess not.
All right, so you're all heading to the blue collar district. How do you
The
get
coin
there?
knows all.
Oh boy. Well, what
I
was that?
apologize for that again. I just said the coin knows all.
It's the Kingswood Route Station.
What?
That's where we're headed.
Yes.
Oh.
So how do you guys get there? You know, there's definitely omnibuses, 3-horse omnibuses that you could pay for to travel. There are trains that would probably get you in the general area from where you are out at the pit. You'd probably have to walk to the edge of the slums and then be able to take one into the blue collar district and walk there. What is your normal mode of transportation when the doctor is not around?
I'll take my normal back street shortcuts and whatnot, and like hitch rides on the back of wagons and whatnot, just hanging there so I don't have to pay.
Okay, so you guys all kind of split up to head there?
Sure, because I was just gonna take a bus.
Okay, you know that there's not actual buses. It would be a horse and wagon.
Yes, but
Okay.
it's a
Yeah.
group.
It's an
Wagon.
omnibus. It's literally this thing. Let me
Yeah,
pull out. You know what I'm
it's
talking
that big
about.
thing right
That-
there.
That thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that thing right there. Yep, right
That,
there.
that,
Yep.
hey guys, it's that thing right there.
What about this thing? Is it one of these things? Over
It's
here?
that thing too. But it's not that thing. Over here.
Okay.
It's not that thing. No. And that's a handsome cab. And
Yeah.
that's what the rich people, and that's a thing as well. That's a bell.
But
and
yes,
there's a
I
bell
would-
there. Anyways. Okay. I would say it probably takes a little while for you guys to get there. Has anyone been to this police station before? Okay.
No,
It
not,
is-
I don't think so.
I suppose I've probably been taken in there one time for my street music antics.
Probably. So this is the largest station in the city. This station provides constables for the blue collar district, the beachfront on the river, the gated communities when they rarely need it. The gated community has their own guard, and also the mansions as well.
Oh wait,
They-
hold on. What about those couple of inspectors?
So
that,
the original inspector, he works in the Old Borough. So the Old Borough station provides constables for primarily the Old Borough and a little bit in the slums. And then the other
Okay.
constables from the bombing incident, those ones are in the industrial district specific to that area.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we weren't going to run into those guys.
I'm not saying you won't, but I'm not saying you will. So yeah, it's just a very large stone building. It's built into a variety of other businesses to its side, but on its left-hand side it has a large archway that leads into the back, and in the back they have a corral. From this station, they have mounted police. They also have dog support units, so constables with dogs. But you will also notice that once you get here, there's a feeling that it's not as populated as it should be. There's still a decent amount of criminals and their families that seem to, be brought in, or you can even hear them yelling out from the 40 or so cells that they have on site. But as far as constables, police, and support staff, there's not a lot here. It's still busy, but not as busy as it could be. And spending a little time kind of overhearing and watching them, you often will hear conversations and complaints about how the other stations have it so much better than them. You'll hear the criminals complaining about how the cell next to theirs is so much better than the cell they're in. There's just a general complaint kind of attitude going on here. There's a few stairs that lead up to the main entrance. Off to the right-hand side, you'll see kind of the cell entrance. So there's a jail door that they'll bring folks in to kind of lock them away for their time. Going inside, there's a long kind of reception table. There's two individuals, a woman, and it looks like a constable probably. He's not wearing his hat, and you don't see any kind of insignia on his uniform. It just seems to be the standard kind of dark blue outfit. They both look up as the three of you enter and kind of just look at you and... What is it? What do you need? They don't speak much, do they, Billy? Do I need to speak up?
Kid.
What is it? What do you need?
Poke Levi and push him forward a bit.
I feign that, spin around and push you.
Gentlemen, if we're gonna have this kind of shenanigans, you can take it out to the street. I will ask you one last time. You have entered into Kingswood Route Station. What is it that you need?
What is it? It's Vine, right?
Vione?
Vione?
Do you
That's
need
it,
medical aid? The doctor's office is down the street,
Inspector
2 blocks
Vione.
to the left.
Vione.
Well, we're here about what is it, a kidnapping or the disappearance of a kid from the Bexley family, I believe.
I see. And who are you? Why is it you're interested in this disappearance?
Someone showed interest in us about the disappearance and I believe asked us to investigate it ourselves, and we figured who better to assist us in that than, inspectors themselves.
As you're saying this, they're both looking at you, specifically your clothing. Are you wearing shoes?
Yeah, they're gonna be extremely dirty, but yeah.
Dirty, probably some holes in them. You got a guitar on your back. You're standing next to a guy with overalls that hasn't had a chance to clean, so probably giving off a bit of a scent. What are your names?
Well, I go by Levi. I don't use a last name, but Levi should suffice.
Levi, you do not come from a family? I'm pretty sure we all have last names. Isn't that right, Billy? Billy looks up. Yeah, that's right. I'm O'Donnell. That's right, Billy. Very good.
I don't want to associate with the people that share my last name.
I see. All right. So you're looking to aid in this case, I assume? Have you spoken to the family? Are they the ones that have asked you to do this?
No, they did not talk to us about it.
I see. All right. Give me a moment. I will see which of the inspectors... You said Vanoing? Well, what was it? What does
Pasco-
it say?
I believe it's Pasco Vione.
Ah, yes, Inspector Pasco. Very good. Yes, let me go and see if he's in. As she steps back, she steps down from a stool, and she's maybe a good 5'2", as she shuffles away. She goes up a set of stairs to the left and up into kind of an office area that's not enclosed. It has one of those balconies that kind of goes over the edge. You can hear a few men kind of talking up there, the sound of typewriters, maybe the sound of a telegraph going on up there as well. She makes her way up the stairs, kind of looks around. You hear her talk to someone up there. She comes down and comes right up to you, Levi. I'm very sorry, but the inspector's not here right now. It seems he might be on the scene elsewhere.
Are you allowed to tell us where he is? Might we be able to go try and get his attention?
I cannot give out the information of our inspectors. You can understand how dangerous that might be to just give off their information to outsiders. If you would like, you can all just stay here and wait. I'm sure he might return before it gets too late at night. She kind of looks behind you. There's a few other people making their way in. Looks like I'm getting a bit of a line here.
There's some other business we can probably take care of and then come back later and see if he is returned.
Whatever you think is best. She shuffles away back to the desk. She begins to speak with a few of the other individuals kind of coming in, telling their stories, all of that. You notice maybe only one or two constables, make their way around. No one seems to be going up or down the stairs.
Well, I turn to the other two and I'm gonna I'll tell them what happened. She said he Pasco Vione is not in right now. He might be in later, so perhaps we should head over to the gated community and chat with the Bexleys themselves, and maybe we can come back here later and see if he's returned.
You think you're getting in looking like that?
I have my ways.
All right, show us.
No, we better clean up.
You two have fun with that. I'll take care of myself. Plus, I don't particularly have, as you say, clean clothes.
I'm pretty sure the school will have some clothes.
Shopping
I'm a bit
montage.
big compared to the size of those kids. I don't think those will fit.
Shopping montage.
Yeah,
Get in, losers. We're going shopping.
This definitely sounds like a prepare for next activity montage. Unfortunately, it's kind of late at night. So you going to sneak into the school? Is that what you're doing?
I'm not sneaking anybody into any school.
I
I'd
had no
sacred
plan on
ground.
going into it.
Well, the kid doesn't want clothes anyway, so
Well, I never said I don't want them. It's just that I don't exactly have the means of obtaining clothes that would fit.
that's why we go borrow some.
That's why we just go to the mall.
All the kids at the school are like half
They're
my
not
size.
open.
They're not gonna. Those clothes won't fit.
It's pretty
Buying
late at night.
new
I don't
clothes.
think shopping.
That doesn't necessarily
are
have to be a
open.
kid's clothes. I'm pretty sure the teachers have clothes.
I don't think they just have their uniforms sitting at school though.
They live on campus.
I live on campus.
And if I borrow anything from Will, it's gonna be 3 times my size, probably something like that.
I mean, we're about the same size.
I'm 7 foot, but I'm skinny, really skinny.
Definitely
6
not
foot.
7 foot.
I keep saying 7 foot, 6 foot, really skinny.
Man, we got some tall. Like you are a circus act if you're 7
He
foot.
doesn't know numbers. Leave him alone.
Well, Will is 7'3", if I remember correctly.
I am 6'3", thank you.
Where are
You
getting
have said
this?
7'3" on numerous occasions.
I have never said 7'3".
Stilts, play the clip.
Ew.
All right, so give me an idea what you're having this strange conversation in the middle of the lobby. It's probably about 7:30 at this point. By the time you all got there, had this conversation, most businesses are closed by this point by a couple
Yep.
hours.
Well, then we will all go home and we'll clean up, and tomorrow we'll go meet the family. Unless we want to stay and meet the inspector.
Well, it sounds like the inspector is coming within the night as opposed to waiting and going for the family. So that would be the sooner thing that we could do, and probably
I
our
got
better
nothing
bet.
going on tomorrow.
So it'd be a Tuesday.
I don't really have a whole lot of time.
It's true. So you could definitely stay here for a couple hours, see if he returns, or you can try to.
We'll wait for a couple hours, and then if he doesn't show up, I gotta go.
Okay.
I mean, I could wait indefinitely. I don't have anywhere to go, really.
Yes, loitering at the police station.
So by about 9 o'clock, the place has really died down.
Except
Both
for
the
that one guy.
receptionists have kind of gone off, headed home. There's maybe 5 or 6, constables that are still making their way around every once in a while. Some drunko will be, brought in. 2 gentlemen do make their way downstairs and exit as well. But yeah, by about 9 o'clock, it's kind of the skeleton crew. You don't hear any sounds coming from upstairs. And the inspector hasn't made his way back that you've seen yet.
Are we sure this inspector exists?
Yeah. I mean,
You sound real convinced.
I don't expect the order to just be like, oh, here's a little goose chase. Go have fun, kiddies.
I mean, we did ruin an entire district.
Oh, it is not ruined. It is way better.
It looks better, but that does not mean it is better.
No, it's better.
Well, I'm out of here. I have class tomorrow.
So William heads home.
William's out.
About 9:30. Oh. Were you going to say something, Chris?
I was just gonna say I'm still gonna stick around whether I sleep or not. I might as well stick around there. It's a place of interest.
Yeah, by about 9:30, it's really down to bare minimum. About every 2 or 3 minutes or so, constables will make their way through the main area and then kind of go back and they seem to be patrolling around the facility into the jail area, kind of back through the stables and back through. A few times they've approached you, told them that you're waiting for someone. They kind of like, okay, whatever, just don't do anything you're not supposed to. But it starts to feel like it's possible the inspector may not be coming. But there is the opportunity to head upstairs
yeah.
and take a look.
2 to 3 minutes is a pretty good gap.
I have washed my hands with these decisions.
I nudged the kid. They just left.
Yeah, you hear the clicking of the boots. You hear the strong door kind of close behind them. You know you got a couple minutes.
Well then, I take the nudge and interpret it as a request to go upstairs and check it out. So I do.
Okay.
I go up there. What do I see?
So yeah, you walk upstairs. There is probably a good 30 feet from where the stairs come up to the far edge of the wall. Probably about 15 or so desks, not huge desks, you know, standard kind of wooden cookie cutter desks. You see that for the most part, the ones on the far edge of the room don't really have anything on them. Every once in a while you see like a typewriter, but that's about it. There's about 4 desks that are closer to the edge of the stairs that have paperwork, typewriters. You'll see, you know, coffee mugs and glasses, but they definitely seem to be well used. But it seems like this is kind of the working area for inspectors. The criminal investigation department would be here. The balcony continues towards the back, and that leads to a few private offices. And then on the other side seems to be a bit more of the desks, but also some more scientific stuff, almost like a lab. But for the most part, it's quite dark. There's a little bit of light coming in through the windows. So shining from, if you're coming up the stairs, kind of turning to your left, they would be from the left side where the front door is. There's some windows on this level, and there's a bit of that, you know, orange light that's kind of coming through there, casting a little light. But it's pretty dark up here.
Hey, back downstairs, is there any potted plants on the desk of the receptionist?
No, they can't afford potted plants. It's a pretty poor station.
Mike was gonna pee in the plants.
It's gonna eat them, probably.
Or check for a key.
No, I was just gonna do something nice.
It was gonna
Water the
water.
plants.
Who knows?
You said there was the lab, a little bit of moonlight. What was some of the other stuff?
So you're about right there, and Mike's about right there, and the doctor is not home right now. He's somewhere. And William's sleeping. So yeah, that's what you see at the moment. With that, what would you like to do? Or would
These
you like to
offices-
take a closer look at what you see up there?
These offices here, they have windows on the outside, I believe.
They do, but they're like that frosted glass.
Oh, well,
Sort
that's
of more
not
like
fun.
windows for light, not windows to look in. They do have labels on them though.
Oh, well, I'll go up and check what the labels are on each.
They both appear to be interrogation rooms.
And as far as we can tell, they're vacant.
As far as you can tell, both of the doors are locked, but you don't hear anything coming from there. You don't really see any light coming through there. It's just a dark room that has interrogation room 1 and interrogation room 2 labeled on it.
Okay, well, there's the desks on the left that are in use. Is there any, like name tags on the desk or important documentation that might indicate who works at them?
It sounds like you're trying to get a closer look. So let's go ahead and do an investigate roll. And I'll give you some more information about these desks. So what tags are you going to use for this roll as you're glancing over? What kind of knowledge or skills are you going to utilize? And Mike, are you offering help for this at all? Have I lost everybody? Am I talking to
No, I'm
myself?
still here. I was talking through stream, not through push to talk. My bad.
Phazon.
I have like the worst tag set for absolutely anything.
It's okay.
Well, let's fingers crossed. May the dice be ever in my favor.
Mike, are you gonna help him? Oh, it looks like he's doing it. Mild success, so 7. Okay.
I'm staying downstairs for In case they
staying-
come in 2 instead of 3.
Staying the downstairs. All right, so you get one question, and you were looking for names.
Any indication of who might be the workers of each desk?
Okay. So you see two different kind of name tags, and they are the ones closest here. The one right at the top of the stairs. It's a name that you recognize. It is the inspector that has arrested you before. What is his name? You can just pick a name. What's the name of the inspector that arrested you before?
I'm seeing if someone else has a good idea. Let's make this quick. Brian.
Inspector Brian Gilligan. You remember he was definitely a bit uncaring towards your pleads, and there was a point he threatened to break your guitar. He was tired. He was just tired of your music and was gonna break that guitar. How are you able to get out of here? What was your promise? What did you have to serve? Did you have to pay a fine?
I just, when he started yelling at me on the street, I just started playing louder and to kind of confuse him, and all I did was take me in for a night for loitering instead.
Okay. The other desk you see has Inspector Pasco Bayonne on it. On the top, there's a typewriter, a few folders. There's a glass jar of some kind of brown, what you would assume alcoholic liquid, and a crystal kind of glass, or standard glass. A variety of pens, inkwells, a few stamps. There's quite a bit of things on there. The desk itself has two drawers on the left-hand side. Both of them appear to have keys to them. And then there's one drawer that's up underneath where his legs would go as well that also seems to have a lock on it. Mike, at the front door, you're kind of watching the public, and as it's getting later and later, it definitely seems to quiet down a bit. But about I don't know, 100, 200 yards away, you start to hear the loud laughter and then cursing of a drunk, and the response of someone telling him to shut up and just keep moving, and they seem to be headed this direction.
I'm gonna hit the wall once really hard, and then a second time about half as hard, like in quick succession.
Okay. Yeah, so Levi,
Would
you
I-
hear like a doof, doof.
Yeah.
Would I hear the drunken stammering outside?
You might hear it if you're not focusing on other things. So it's possible you might hear something but not necessarily know exactly where it's coming from, how far away it is, anything like that.
Okay, well, given that I don't know what that loud thud was, I'm gonna probably what's the word I'm looking for? Simplicity's sake, run and hide somewhere out of sight, because it sounds like someone might have been closed the door pretty hard or something like that. I'm not quite sure what it is.
Okay. Where do you try to hide? Found a desk, like go in the back corner?
Well, let's see. The interrogation rooms are locked. I'd imagine the lab is probably locked. If not, it's still on the other side. Is there anything up in this corner?
Which corner?
Top left.
Up there, it appears. Yeah. You know what? Let's actually. Do you want there to be something in that corner?
I'd like something that I can mostly conceal myself
So
with.
let's
That's be able to hear them.
Yeah, let's change the game for you to look for a good place to hide. So changing the game is when you use your abilities to give yourself or your allies an advantage. So you're trying to get an advantage to stay hidden. So we can take a look. We kind of have a blank area of our map that we're not sure what is there yet. So what kind of powers that would help you discern if a place is good to hide or not? You can go ahead and roll up to 3.
Where is the change the game thing? Oh, never mind, found it. All right. All right, these 3 should work and roll.
Perfect.
Hey.
So you get 3 total juice, so you can use that to create a story tag. So story tags tend to be a temporary tag, and that could just be that there's a bathroom or whatever back there if you dive into. You can also scale up the effect, so maybe it's not just a bathroom, it's a full-on office that just happens to be unlocked. You can give yourself a status of just whatever, you know, you just find a dark corner, so now you have a status of hidden 3. So whatever you want to use there. So story tags give you a bonus of +1. So if you're trying to hide, you would be able to add that +1 to your roll. And then statuses will only be in effect until you're not hidden anymore.
So, I don't, trying to think of what I would want to be in the corner, but it's definitely going to be like a hiding place. One where I'm not visible, but I can hear.
Okay.
So perhaps maybe an abandoned office, the door's cracked open a little bit, or something like that.
So you find a third interrogation room kind of in the back. The door is unlocked, and it seems like the door handle might actually be broken, which would be why it's unlocked. The room itself seems to be for more storage than interrogation itself. There's a few chairs, bookcases, cabinets that have all been kind of stacked in here. Yeah, you find yourself a hidey hole. So yeah, I would say that probably takes 2 of your juice, but you still have another one that you can give yourself a status of like hidden 1 as well.
Okay, so for the story tag, do I just have it as a story tag, or do I put any number with it?
No, so it's just a basic story tag, so that gives you a +1, and that actually would be for everyone, so obviously you have this area to use to hide in, or it's just abandoned office story tag.
I think this is why I went home. 'Cause-
Well, I set a hiding place story tag, so I guess for the status, I can really only do a level 1 hidden 1, I guess.
I'm at
Alright,
home
that's
in my
that.
bed, and you're hiding in a bathroom.
No, it's an office.
An office full of furniture.
Uh-huh.
So Mike, bursting through the front door is a drunk Irishman and an Irish cop, and they're just going at each other. The drunkard's in shackles. The constable kind of looks at you like, are you supposed to be here? But he's too busy trying to keep the drunkard moving forward. So they make their way through the station over to the jail door, swing that open. He hollers in, "We got another one!" You hear him kind of walk inside. The door slowly creaks closed, And you can definitely still hear them going at it in here. There's a lot of sounds and metal clanging and all of that. What do you do at that point, Mike?
As they're walking past, I just kind of pull my feet in and smile.
Mm-hmm.
And they just keep going.
So upstairs, Levi, you hear definitely some commotion, some loud yelling, and then the sound of that fading. And again, you hear like the slamming of metal jail cells and all of that coming from somewhere down below.
I'm gonna stay where I am as of right now because I know that's certainly not Mike, because it didn't sound like him.
So after about 10-15 minutes, the jail door opens again and the constable comes out. He walks right up to you, Mike. Alrighty. What are you doing here?
I'm waiting for a particular constable.
Ah, you realize what time it is, right?
Yes, sir.
If they're not here now, they're not gonna come. So,
That
who
is
is it
good
you're
to
waiting
know.
for?
I think it was like a Paco Vici.
And looks at you.
No, don't help him. He knows what he's doing.
All right.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
Well, like I said, he's probably not going to be here, so I'm going to have to ask that you leave the premises. Perhaps come back in the morning when most people will be back.
Absolutely, sir.
Kind of stands
Enjoy
there.
your evening.
He stands there and he waits for you to stand up and start walking.
Yeah, I'll start walking. Just
He-
making sure to take a little bit extra heavy of steps.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you definitely hear heavy footsteps upstairs, Levi. You hear a bit of a conversation. So he walks you to the front door and he kind of waits for you to leave.
Yeah, I step outside and start walking away, but not like really fast.
You hear him close the doors from the inside and a click, click as he locks the door.
Well, kid's fucked.
Door opens from the inside, so
Yeah.
And windows.
yeah, I'm just gonna kind of stand out like just across the street.
You'll notice that the few candles and lanterns I had lit in this main office goes dark, and the only light you see seems to be coming from the jail house and from outside itself. Inside, Levi, you hear people leave. You kind of hear the squeaking of a few doors, footsteps, and then after about 5-10 minutes, you notice everything's a bit darker. And there's like an eerie silence. Like you can hear some very faded conversation coming from somewhere deeper in the building. But as far as the area you're in, this front kind of reception area, it seems to be empty and quiet.
I'm gonna come up to the door and kind of peer through to see if there's anybody lurking about upstairs.
It's pretty dark, so you can only really see probably about this far in clearly. Like all the light would be coming from this area. So out here, it's pretty darn dark, but you don't hear anything or see anything.
All right, I'm gonna go back out to Pasco's desk and see what other files like. Oh wait, drawers are locked. Can I check his desk to see if there's a key hidden somewhere?
Yeah, let's do another investigate roll.
I don't want no part of this.
Well, it's a good thing you're in bed.
You're in your
know.
bed that's very conveniently right outside of the police station.
Yes, I'm sleeping outside in the dirt.
Well, actually,
No, I
wait.
wanna-
Don't do investigate, because I'm not sure this is actually a burning question you have. This might actually be another change the game scenario.
Okay.
So that the thing with this game is that a lot of these moves are not as, you know, specific as even Apocalypse World and Dungeon World. You know, they have a variety of ways it can be used. So investigate specifically is when you use your abilities to seek answers to burning questions. Well, you don't really have a burning question of does he have a key? It's more, do I see a key that's here? That would typically be an advantage. Your advantage then being I now can open the door without having to break it. So that's where change the game would make more sense. You're trying to give yourself an advantage. So that can still be the act of you looking over something to see, okay, is there a weapon, a tool? Can I use this chair to break over somebody's head? Whereas investigate might be then looking for deeper evidence. So, okay, I have the key. The key isn't necessarily evidence. I can then look through the drawers and try to understand what am I looking at, ask specific questions for more things to find. If that makes sense at all.
So it's a
Yeah.
change roll.
Yeah.
Hey.
Perfect. So yeah,
Hey,
you definitely have a key.
Watches nod to his desk.
No, it definitely seems to be. I mean, it's not like they have a ton of different types of locks. It's, you know, an old kind of rusty iron key. You find it actually hidden underneath the typewriter. Oh,
Interesting place to keep it.
What's that?
That's an interesting place to keep it.
Yeah, and I think as you're like looking underneath the folders and everything, you notice the typewriter doesn't seem to be used that much. It was actually kind of wobbly. He seems to be more of a hand writer than a typer. But yeah, you have a key and you fit it into the first lock, pops open, slides open. Fit it into the next lock, pops open, slides open. Both of these are full of notebooks, folders, documents, case files.
All right. I'm gonna see if I can find anything that has the name Bexley on it.
Okay. Yeah, there's definitely a folder on the top side that has the name Bexley on it. It's probably got about 3 or 4 documents within it.
Well, I'll take those out, spread them across the desk, and see what there is to be known about the inspector that hasn't returned in the case that we're on.
Okay. So while you're doing that outside, Mike, you said you're across the street.
Yeah, it not like directly out from the door, but kind of on the corner, just
Okay.
leaning against a tree.
So it goes probably 10 or 15 minutes of you standing out there, Mike. The streets are pretty empty. Every once in a while, you'll see, someone working from the factories heading home from a late shift. For the most part, everything's quiet, but eventually that constable makes his way kind of out of the building, and he starts heading in kind of the same direction you are. It doesn't seem he's noticed you yet, but he's definitely walking towards that corner that you're sitting at.
I'll quickly start digging in the dirt and grabbing a few seeds out of my satchel and kind of having them laid out in front of me.
Okay. So you're down on your hands and knees digging in the dirt. Yeah, his footsteps. You hear click, 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 click. Like he's slowing down as he sees this large man bending down by a tree. It's probably about 10 feet behind you, still walking very slowly, kind of trying to get an idea of what you're doing.
I don't even think he knows.
I'm just gonna continue planting more of the, like, 10 or so seeds that I pulled out.
So he makes his way right behind you, and you just hear, "Can I help you, sir?"
No, I'm good. I look up at him and go back to
He
patting
recognizes,
over the dirt to the seed.
sees who you are, and he goes over and he kind of grabs you kind of firmly by the shoulder. "I thought you were on your way out of here." He kind of looks over you, sees that you're digging holes. "Are you aware that you are damaging the property of the king?"
It's not damaging. I pull out some seeds. I'm planting some flowers. It looked a little sparse.
"I see. All right, come with me," and he goes to like try to pick you up.
Good luck.
You hear him like fumbling for something, a chain, and then you hear a shrill whistle.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do anything?
Well, I mean, at first he obviously, wasn't going to be able to, but I was going to comply overall.
Okay, so you eventually stand up. He takes you and he starts leading you back towards the cell area.
And Mike's been arrested.
Well,
It's not a bad thing, Sven. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he's got his hand on your shoulder. He hasn't put you in shackles or anything, but he's just walking you towards that door. "I think there's someone you
Yeah.
might need to talk to in the morning. It might be best that you spend the night here so we can make sure you get the proper care that you need." "Don't
That
worry, old
works.
chap."
I needed to talk to that particular constable anyway.
Oh,
And,
no.
The
Not
king
constable,
will be
sir.
very happy when he sees the flowers that grow there.
Right. I'm sure the doctors will know all about it. All right, come on now. Don't worry. We deal with your kind all the time. We even let Billy run the front desk.
No, Billy is slow.
He thinks you're retarded.
Indeed.
Well,
So
No,
at
I'm
this
would you
very
point,
want
you're
to
right
let
at
the
front
pit
door.
know? Would you please let the pit know that in the morning they're gonna need to cover my route?
I thought I smelled something. Don't worry. They'll find someone to cover you.
Oh no,
it'll-
no,
it'll
they
be
won't
fine.
find somebody to
All
cover
right.
me.
Then he's like pushing you towards the door. The door's now open. He's trying to push you inside.
Yeah, you can.
Right? He can get you in there. There's a constable sitting up against the alley, kind of his feet out, and his hat's kind of pulled down over his eyes. He hears a commotion. He kind of wakes up. "What is this now?" We got a loony here. He was trying to plant flowers or something outside. I figured it might be best he spend the night here, and we can take him to the dock in the morning." "All right, put him in cell 37. He
you've
takes
got
you.
37 of those?
Oh, they got 40 cells. It's the largest facility here. It's not the jail, but they need to be able to hold a lot.
It's the
But
largest
only-
facility in the Western Hemisphere.
But only 2 guards. It's one of those places. Overpopulated, understaffed.
America, but Great Britain in the 1800s.
Apparently. So the other constable gets up, takes a big, large iron ring with a whole bunch of keys on it, goes over to cell 37, unlocks it, opens it up. He walks you over to cell 37 and says, "All right, have a good night. Don't worry, we'll get you sorted right straight in the morning."
Yeah, make sure and let the pit know. The
Absolutely,
manager will
sir.
be over bright and early
Absolutely,
to
sir. And good.
collect
Have
his
a good
worker.
night now. Have a good night. Yes, indeed. Closes the door. Locks it. I swear, there's just more and more these days, don't you think? There must be something in the water. So
He drank
upstairs,
from the new leg.
you have a folder. Inside about 3 or 4 documents. Appears to be one that's like an official report, one that's a bit of a sketch of what the inspector thinks the kid might look like, and then basic notes that he's been taking. A lot of it's in kind of like abbreviation and official terms. Tell me about the education of Levi. How educated is he?
I completed like the basic levels of school, but not any of the like non-mandatory higher education. And I'm also only 19, so
Okay.
I'm essentially where I should be at my age with education. So I'm not stupid, I guess, but not like Harvard education.
Okay.
Hey, that's me.
University.
No, that's
Harvard.
the joke.
Harvard. We got the Harvard. All right.
That's
so,
the joke.
Whoosh.
I'm a university.
Whoosh. Just all the whoosh. Let's go ahead. As you try to investigate this folder, let's have you roll investigate so that you can ask specific questions and I can give you specific details.
Indeed, except I keep opening up the wrong thing to do that.
I've noticed.
Let's move Mike to a jail cell. He's over there now. He's living in his little cell.
Way to go, Mike.
Hey, no, that constable is gonna get a talking to in the morning.
You say that. That's as if he ever calls anybody.
No, the pit manager cannot get any employees to take my route.
Listen, Mike. Phazon.
No, he will be looking for me in the morning.
Phazon. The cops just think you're slow in the head. They're not gonna say anything to
I
anybody.
realize that, but when I don't show up,
They're not gonna
he's
come.
No, the manager will come looking because
They're
he
gonna go to
needs
the
those
gay bars
streets
and look for
clean.
you.
No.
I'm not sure your boss would know that you would be here.
No, but he's gonna come looking because he needs somebody to clean those streets.
You say that.
He's just gonna go to every jail cell in the entire city.
Have you
Just
seen
with the
Mike?
assumption that Mike got arrested. Do you get arrested
I'm-
often, Mike?
No,
Yes.
but I'm just saying
I'm just saying that maybe take a look.
he
over,
won't come directly here.
Maybe just take a look over the flashback move. We might be seeing one of those in the near future.
Yeah,
You've
I'm just saying.
flashback.
I'm the only
to
one
a
that
little-
does that entire district, and no other employee can do that whole district in a day.
Flashback to a little place called Bastalam where you know,
Awesome. So you have two questions you
Hey,
can ask
I
me as
can't
you
be killed in here.
review this folder. Yes, you are. Definitely. You're going to burn them all out. While William snores away. A bit hungry tonight, William. You definitely have a bit of a hunger growing.
Yep. I
Just
have
like
plans
these
for
sirens
that.
outside.
I've got plans.
Oh, you have plans. I thought you were sleeping.
I have plans. That's why I went to bed.
All right, well, we'll follow up with you in a moment. What would you like to ask me about this folder? What are your burning questions about what this folder contains?
Okay, so what I have in front of me, you said, was a case report, a rough sketch of what Pasco thinks Hans looks. I almost called him Hanzo. What Hans looks like, and what was the third document?
Basically, his private notes, like his personal notes about the case.
On hand soap.
I'm gonna read through the normal case report and try and find out what seems to have maybe happened to the kid.
Okay. So he has a bit of a timeline. So about a month ago is the official report. His parents say it was probably about a week before that, so they estimate about 5 weeks that he's been missing. In the report, they had mentioned that their son was in the process of planning a pretty large party for him and his wealthy friends, and that he was heading to downtown to visit the Broadview Garden, which is the main park down there, to have a meeting for some party supplies, but he never returned from that meeting. The report does indicate that the inspector has gone to the garden to inspect it, and no luck for last known. Didn't find any signs of him, so he's unsure if he ever made it there.
All right, and then my other question is going to be, I'm going to look through his personal notes on the whole situation and see what his opinion on the entire quote-unquote kidnapping, for lack of a better term, is. Disappearance.
So the inspector was able to dig into this kid's history a bit, and it turns out this kid has a bit of an opium addiction. Through some resources and connections, he believes that he might have the location of the kid's dealer. A coffee shop, or it's more of a tea shop, named the Cocoa Gate is the last known location, and it does seem that he actually still continues to frequent that area, with additional notes on who he sees, kind of the regulars that are around there, and definitely keeping an eye on the location.
Okay, so we have the location of his dealer and the, what was the name of that park again?
Broadview Garden in downtown. Think Central Park. It's kind of like that. If you've ever been there, you know, or we'll go there. But yeah, it's the main park in downtown.
All right, well, I'm going to start putting the stuff back in the files and locking up the drawers before someone, before someone I don't want to see me sees me.
Okay, I'm gonna have you roll sneak around to, first of all, see if you put everything away in a way that he won't notice, and then also because you're trying to do something discreetly. So sneak around is when you use your abilities to act secretly or deceptively. Roll plus power on a hit. Every one that should fall for it falls for it. On a 7 to 9, it's complicated. So what tags are you going to use to make sure you're putting everything back orderly, but also stay quiet?
Well, definitely hide from the public eye. That's going to be a huge part of that. And, let's see. Oh, actually, the way that's worded, leave the past behind, so to speak, because, I'm trying to leave that and get away from it.
I like it.
I think that's... what are your thoughts on if I use ambition?
What are you
trying to rank up in the order?
Sorry, what was that?
He is trying to rank up in the order.
True. Is that why you would be ambitious to hide this? Or
It's more of a not wanting to get caught and arrested snooping around top investigators' desks.
I'll say just because you happen to be standing next to the desk of the officer that has arrested you in the past, yeah, you're ambitious to not be caught because you have kind of memories of this place that may not be all that great.
Right, here we go.
Okay.
Should I put any of my tags or statuses on that, like the hiding place story tag and the hidden status?
No. I'll let you know with those. Well, yeah, I guess technically the hidden status would give you a bonus there. So you got.
I don't think a 10 would have been different, would it have?
Yeah, because it's 7 to 9 or 10 and above.
Okay.
So yeah, you're able to do it discreetly. You put everything back in the order you found it, put the folder back where you found it, you close the door, you lock both of the drawers, you place the key back underneath the typewriter, you set the typewriter down, and you step back and you look, and it's as good as you remember. But then you look around a little bit more, and you peek over the balcony, and it's dark, and you don't see Mike. In fact, you don't see anything, but you do see that both of the doors are closed, and all the lanterns have been shut off, and it's just kind of dark and quiet.
And there's no noise going on?
There's definitely noise coming from this area, you know, the typical jail sounds, things banging on metal, drunk guys, you know, crying, screaming, singing, whatever sounds Mike is making. But I don't know if that it's Mike.
No, I'm laying on the bed sleeping.
Okay, none of that, like, loud bang and then half as loud bang going on?
Nope. No, it's all like the door over here is closed, so all the sounds you hear are coming from back there. So imagine the typical jail sound at night coming through that door. It's pretty faint. That's the only sound you hear. Outside you might hear like occasional horses and the squeaky wheels of a wagon go by. But again, it's 10:30 at night. It's pretty quiet.
Well, I'm gonna try and make my way over there. Not sure if there's any enforcement of any kind in the building. Stealthily, somewhat.
Over where?
Over to the... Wait, do I have line of sight to the door?
Yeah, from the top of the balcony, you can definitely see the main door, and then you can see over to where the jail door is. It's a big, iron door stuck into the wall here, whereas these are just standard wood doors at the front, big with a lock on them.
Is it like a grated door with the bars or whatever?
It does have bars in the window, but for the most part, it's just like a dark black iron solid door and frame.
Okay, well, out of curiosity of Mike not being here anymore, I'm going to go over and try and peek through the door and see if I can see anything.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, even going up to the door, you can see a variety of cells up underneath. You can probably see about 3 different cells. 2 of them are occupied. One has a red-headed Irishman leaning up against his bed and just singing a good Irish song. In the other cell, there's a large man in jean overalls with his back towards the cell, just laying there, sleeping.
Not like asleep, but laying there.
Just laying there. And you can hear conversation coming from this back corner. Two guys talking, every once in a while laughing.
All right, well, not like yelling, but loud enough that I'm over the light commotion in the jail cells. I'm just gonna be like, Mike, is that you?
Yeah, take that risk, buddy. Take that risk. You take it.
I mean, he is, a musician, so he should be able to control his volume quite well.
So he can do all that. Use the hidden status. Definitely add that. Let's see. I'm going to invoke one of your weaknesses, though. Fear of failure. Because if you fail this, your fear is that you might be joining those in the cell.
All right, well, let's definitely not use crank it to 11. That's not what we want.
No, crank it to 11. Do it. Just blast them.
Mike, are you in that cell?
To be honest, that might work because the cops would actually be used to loud outbursts from drunks.
but it's directional in a way.
And I don't sound drunk.
Oh, Mikey boy,
Hey,
are
you
you
never
in the
know unless
cell
you
that
roll.
I see?
Get drunk before you try to talk to him.
I
Do
clicked the
remember
plus
that
for hidden,
bottle
right?
of liquid up on his desk? Yeah, take the risk. So it should be an additional one with the hidden and a minus because of the weakness. So whatever your power tags are.
All right, I'm trying to think. Hide from the public eye because I'm trying to not
Mm-hmm.
get outed here. Wouldn't. I don't think charm creatures is applicable here. Persuade thoughts.
Sure, you're trying to blend in. I'll give you that.
I can't think of anything else that would be too useful here. No, that wouldn't work. All right. Well, I guess this is what I'm going with. Let's see if my luck's run out. Face danger? No.
Take the risk. You are definitely performing a very risky or outright stupid feat.
Oh,
Oh, thank goodness.
All right.
mm-hmm.
Mike, I'm going to offer you the hard bargain or ugly choice.
Okay.
You can definitely hear him. You also notice that your friend, the Irishman, also hears him. You can either choose to respond or cause a distraction. What do you do?